Hello, welcome to the Desert Underground podcast. I am Desert Danish. With me, as always, Mr. Matt Wadley, my co-host.
What's up, my man?
And we have a very, very talented special follow-up guest in the studio today, Mr. Mark McCoy.
Hello, everybody. Good evening or good morning.
You're back, my man. You're back.
Here we go.
I'm back. You know what? You guys need a webcam, man, so we can do stuff. Check this out, Dane. I just decided I'm going to order a Roland VH1 HD 4-channel video switcher. I'm super excited.
Wow.
That sounds complicated as fuck.
Holy cow.
Yeah. It made me think if you had a webcam for your podcast.
Ooh.
You know, the thing is, I would love to. There's this thing we were just talking about, which is sponsorship. And so Action Cam, if you are listening, I'll go with Sony Action Cam. I don't have to have the GoPro.
Yeah.
I will happily go with GoPro if you're listening.
We'll go with the Walmart.
We will not go with the Walmart one.
What about Roland? Are you interested in any Roland products?
Roland, you know what? I'm into any free products.
Yeah.
I'll try it out. If they want to give me money or free stuff, I'm in.
Dane, this is the perfect time to thank your sponsors. Do you have currently have any sponsors?
We would like to thank our sponsors, Mr. Matt. We will cheers to this with our
taco truck
our beers.
Beverage.
No, we would like to thank our sponsors, Pain and Suffering.
Lots of depression.
And I believe they're subcontracted by Self-Loathing.
Nice.
Anyway, hey, welcome to the podcast, Mark. If everybody... I cut you off there, man. You going to say something?
I was just going to say hello. Thanks for having me.
Basically, what we did is if you haven't listened to it, you got to go to episode 2, the Mark McCoy podcast. That was our first one where we figured out our audio. And wow, I just listened to that podcast earlier. It was a hell of a doozy. We were talking about how he grew up in California, how the Circle Jerks came out here. We talked about his parents and their love for his music. We talked about military experiences, PTSD. Man, we covered a lot. And and then you dropped a bomb on us right at the end. You said, by the way, it's only chapter 1 of 3. Holy crap. So we're very excited to have you back. And our listeners are as well. I speak for all of you.
Right on, man. I'm super excited to be back.
And so let's just do a quick kind of recap of our last few weeks here before we get into your story again. Matt wasn't here last week. He
wasn't.
He was busy.
Work.
This is your job, man.
I wish.
Didn't you tell him the podcast was happening?
Oh, God. If they could... If someone would pay me to do this, like 24/7, I would gladly jump up on it.
Yeah, UBI, man. It's the future. Vote. Everybody get out and vote.
Yeah. Get out and vote that Matt doesn't have to work on a Monday.
Well, he would have to work, but it would be this. But he would still get paid. Do you see do you see the beauty of it?
Save Matt's children.
Yeah. And you almost didn't make it today.
Yeah. We were doing some home fix-it projects, building a fence.
Building a huge fence.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Except this wall wasn't to keep things from getting in. It was to keep my 2 damn dogs from getting out.
That feels racist somehow.
Well, they are labs.
You got a problem? I mean, they're free spirits.
Yeah. Keep the dog in.
They're peacocks, man. You got to let them fly.
Yeah, no. But I am sunburned to shit. I feel like shit, but we're having fun.
You know what I realized is the worst thing to wear when you are sunburnt? A red shirt.
Yep. Hey, look.
And for the sight impaired, if you're viewing this on the webcam, right now I'll describe for you, Matt has this very red glow on his face. It's very shiny.
Yeah.
It just looks like a big strawberry with this red shirt on.
We call that an Irish tan.
Yeah.
You just get redder.
If we tinted his hair green, he'd be ready for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're pale, wearing a white shirt is going to make you seem more pale. Mark. Now, if you're seeing impaired, Mark is wearing a white shirt. You're not super pale. You're just, it makes you look more pale with the white.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't been out much in the sun. When I do go out in the sun, being a desert rat, it's all about the shade and the water, right? The shade and the water. Got to write a song about it.
Speaking of shade and water and beer, wait, you said beer, right?
I didn't, but I'm thinking.
I went to Oktoberfest Ridgecrest Edition. Mark, I saw you there, you and Kathy. I was not prepared for the sun.
Right. Yes. This is a challenge. I think, like, very small festival wide, right? So we just came off the Blues Festival last weekend, the Bud Light Kern River Rock and Blues Fest. They have a sponsor called Bud Light, and Budweiser also sponsors some stuff. Kern River Rock and Blues Fest. Why don't we
have them as a sponsor?
What they did up there, though, is, everybody, there's this big area pop up. The easy up area where you can go and sit in the shade. But you also have to scavenge for shade. Like the sweet spot for enjoying the band, there is no shade. So yeah, we ran into that again this weekend at Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. The only available seating was in direct sunlight. Now, eventually I came up with a plan. I stood under a tree. I watched families enjoy their food. I evil-eyed them till they left and then took over the prime spot in the shade. But, yeah, man, I don't know. We got to do something about this. or just talk about it on the podcast.
We got to do something about the fact that we live in the desert.
Yeah. This whole shade.
This is bullshit, man.
I was looking for that the entire weekend.
Oh man, and
right. So I have this funny looking hat. I'm a desert rat, right? Been here forever. So I wear a hat with the biggest brim you can find that is ventilated on top, because we know heat rises and your head's just like an exhaust port.
It's like a boonie cap or something.
So, it vents up there. It's got a drawstring because sometimes that
whatever Jesse Ventura wore in Predator, it's like that.
And then Dane previously commented on my white shirt. This is actually a cool shirt. This is one of those shirts that is designed to be worn outside when it's 105 degrees. Yep. What it does is it prevents lobstering. It also keeps you cool because your sweat gets it wet, air blows through it. You're like, oh, but this is actually a cool shirt.
That's what I appreciate more than style is practicality. I love it. I dig it. I don't do it.
I need to jump on that bandwagon. I fucking hate sunscreen. And the wife came out 4 times.
She's like, I'm
that. You want me to spray your face?
No, I like melanoma. Go away.
Get away. Get off my lawn.
This is all part of my plan for a slow death.
That's horrible.
So, and after you left, dude, kind of, the band continued to play. I love our music scene. I love music. Whether it's the community. Wow.
What was that?
So I'm a reptile now.
It sounded like Predator noise.
This taco truck is so smooth.
Want some candy?
That is a sensitive, large diaphragm condenser microphone, ladies.
Yeah, that was my throat.
Something is fucking wrong, bro.
Hey, let's talk about your thing now.
All right. Whose thing?
Whatever you were talking about, just keep going. Don't let me stop you.
Was he talking to you?
You mentioned Oktoberfest. So
that's where that came from. Oktoberfest.
You want to know something interesting? Some interesting trivia is, I'm going to just say it. It's my understanding that the fella that runs that thing is really not a big fan of drunk people. That's why he shuts it down promptly at 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then that way, everybody leaves, and then he doesn't have to deal with,
the drunk
You're
talking about the owner?
Dudes chick or whatever. You have the brewery. I know the guy, so I'm not going to bag on him. He's a cool dude.
No, he's
cool dude, local dude.
He was my dare officer when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I know who we're talking about.
Yeah, I
And
totally.
it's totally a setup, right? Like dare officer turns into brewmaster, and
I
you're
know.
like, oh, I don't know about that, man. That sounds like a setup for sure.
Totally.
This is like a long, elaborate sting
Yeah.
operation.
Hey kids, don't do drugs, but try this microbrew.
Yeah.
When you're old enough.
When, wink, wink.
The hard soda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
yep.
now
anyhow.
your wife Kathy was drinking some hard soda. You were too.
Yes.
You were having the black cherry, and she had the pineapple.
That is correct.
And I bought it in bottle form at one point, and I couldn't even finish it. I got halfway through. It was so sugary. It was like that. You know, it was where your body goes, no, can't do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm done.
That's like
You
Mad
got
Dog.
to be a sugar fan to enjoy the hard soda.
Mark always comes prepared to the podcast. He's brought a Red Bull, a Dr. Pepper, a Kit Kat, and a bag of gummy bears. We're only sitting here for an hour, man.
Man, he is amped.
Oh, I love it, man. You come prepared.
Yeah.
It's good.
I guess you'd have to be amped because I know you've been a busy man the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Very busy. So
your sound company, MC Squared?
yeah, MC Squared. If you want, I'll talk to Scott, but perhaps we'll sponsor your program. Then we can say our name all the time.
Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sponsor us with getting us some boom mics.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you guys ran the Kern River Rock and Blues Festival the weekend of September 27th, I think.
Yes. So this is our 4th year. We've run the main stage, the VIP stage, and the acoustic stage, the second stage. It's the Bud Light Kern River Rock and Blues Fest.
That side stage is it's just the back of a pickup truck, right?
It's an old, 1940s,
40s,
yeah,
50s truck.
40s, yeah, 30s,
is awesome.
40s, 50s. It's cool.
It's super
we had
cool,
the
yeah.
harmonica player from Social Distortion was on that stage last year.
That's cool.
wow.
So it doesn't suck.
That is awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's cool, man, and it totally fits the vibe. It's up in the mountains on the river, and it's funny you bring that up because that stage does drive some folks nuts. But the dude that owns it loves it, and I think it's cool too.
It's one of those things like, yeah, I played the back of a truck.
Hey, a stage is a stage.
I would love to do that with my little solo act. That'd be fun, man.
Yep.
Heck
So
yeah.
3 stages, 14 bands, 2 days, man. We took care of business. And the artists, we find that if we take care of the artists that are getting ready to go out there and perform, or when they're up there performing, that'll translate to the audience. So after the event, we received several messages from folks just saying, hey, man, you guys kick ass. Thanks for taking care of us. What, separates you from a good sound company is taking care of the performers.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
Eric, you know what? We don't even want our money. You guys can have it.
Yeah. Dude, it's badass, man. Anybody out there in the entire world, if you want to come have a good time, it is the last weekend of September every year. And just look up Bud Light Kern River Rock and Blues Fest, or KRNNNBF, and book yourself a campsite or a hotel room, and then come party with us. We have a great time, dude. You've seen us work, so know
Yeah.
our rule is no partying or drinking or anything
I was gonna
until
ask
the
that.
last band is on the stage.
Right.
And our thought process is
All bets are off.
Yeah. Once that band's up on stage, they give us a thumbs up that their monitor mix is good.
Yep.
I've got the house dialed in. Then we will proceed to consume large amounts of whiskey. So we can then enjoy that last act that's
Right.
up there. And it's great. The Blues Festival, we get to do it, several nights in a row.
No, I was gonna bring that up just because we had the first experience, and this was totally impromptu and just unscripted, but we ended up doing the sound for the Rock the Relay, and I found myself the soberest I've ever been at a show because you're there to do a job and work.
Yes.
And I can only imagine what you guys went through for 3 straight days. We did one day and I was done.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to go build a fence instead.
Yep.
And it is work.
Yeah, no, it is.
I saw you. So before the show, Matt was out at the fairgrounds when the stage got set up. You were running cables, taping stuff down, getting everything, getting it all good and ready. And this was probably 10 in the morning.
Right. So I was essentially the stage monkey, and Jason and Pete, they actually ran the sound, but I ran around and just put this cable goes here, this one goes here, make sure this one has this, make sure this need is yeah.
That's exactly how we operate. Scott runs the stage and I run the house, and that's a good formula, Matt. It sounds like you did everything right.
I commend you guys, because me being sober for 12 straight hours might have been the most difficult moment of my life.
Yes. And it's a party. Not so much.
Don't give away all your secrets.
Sorry.
Not so much Rock the Relay, but a typical event or concert or festival. Yeah, it's a party, man. And we gotta be on top of it. We're basically running the party. So we like to make sure everybody has a good time, and we're having a great time. And it's, it's a dream come true for me. It's a lot of work, but it's what I enjoy doing. And in this case, it's what this community desperately needs. And every community needs a really kick-ass sound company to come out and represent their community, right?
Right.
So when I go on vacation, when my wife and I, Kathy, when we go on vacation, we'll go, downtown or whether it's a large city or a small city, and just start poking around looking for the local music scene. And sometimes you roll into a town and they got all this super high end shit. And I'm just like, whoa. This city just spent like $2 million on the city sound system.
Right.
Money well spent, right? Because everything sounds freaking phenomenal. Yep. And again, it's representation of that community. And so people are like, for in this case, it was Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I was like, damn, yeah, I will go visit that place again someday, just because they know what's up when it comes to sound. And then sometimes you go to places and they have some crap set up and you're like, oh, okay. And so in Ridgecrest, I know the city, it seems like the last thing they care about is,
it's people.
Dude, it's weird. No, because I love the community, but every time I'm kidding, Rich Crest, I love you. An amphitheater or just something cool, it's like so low on the priority. So for us,
we can't even get our public pool back, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, first off, this town isn't a super huge city, right? So I think there's 24,000 people. So I'm guessing they probably don't get we're in the same county as Bakersfield, right? So I'm assuming countywide, money wise, that most of it goes to Bakersfield.
Yeah.
We're not a rich city. We're just kind of, well, here you go. And it's kind of like, well, you guys aren't suffering. So, you don't need an amphitheater.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where that's at.
Yeah.
I don't expect, it would have to be like donated time and money and all that stuff to even build something worthwhile like that, or just somebody privately saying, I'm going to do this and, hope to make at least their money back, which is really hard to do in this town as well.
Yes. However, this last summer, we went to Colorado. Summer before was Iowa. And I was like, oh yeah, I dug the sound gear. And they had a cool public stage built out of light concrete and stuff. But I get it. It's a large city. And they can do that. However, this past summer, we went to Colorado, in this little town of Dillon, like population 5,000. And, dude, they had the coolest outdoor amphitheater, the big thingy that comes out over the crowd sunshade, a big giant sunshade, and just really bitchin' seats, all concrete. If you're for a government structure, right, you want to minimize maintenance. But it was super cool. And so, yeah, Ridgecrest won't do that. However, circling back around to the sound company, that's why we're here. So fortunately, we can model rooms and make some adjustments and set stuff up and make it sound awesome. And so it's awesome. I love it, dude. It's super cool.
You know what I always think, and it never works out well for me, is I'll be the example and then people will follow my example. And this mainly happens in the fast food line where I'm like, I am going to show up. I'm going to say what I need. I'm going to have my card ready. I'm going to hand it immediately to the person. As soon as they give it back, I'm going to tailgate the person in front of me because we're going 0 miles an hour. And all these fucks just sit there 2 car lengths away from the other car. Oh, I've never been to McDonald's before. What do you guys have here? Burgers? And then, oh, hold on. I didn't know I had to pay money. Hold on.
I know.
Nobody brought that part up, and it's like, Jesus Christ. And so I'm trying to cut fast food out because it's really stressing me out, man.
You know where you
but
should go.
you try to be the example for people and hope that they'll follow in your footsteps. And, you try to set that mark of this is how we do it right. These are the things.
Yes.
These are the steps. I do the same thing at the airport. Like I know that metal detectors detect metal. I'm going to not have metal in my shit. And it just pisses me off, man, all the time. Just these dum-dums I have to live with. And it's like, dude, it's not as hard as you think. And if it is hard, maybe it takes a little bit of effort. Right. That's all it takes, and you can actually do something good and do it right.
Sorry, TSA agent. Here's my silver dollars.
I know, you're like, oh, sorry, I was going to go to the arcade later and you just dump out a bag of coins.
I have to take my belt off.
I forgot I had these janitor keys on me. Sorry. Oh, Jesus,
And
man.
so what's funny when you say that, right, is like, I'm with you, Hundo P, man. I want to be prepared if, class starts at noon. You got your paper out and your pen, you're ready to go. But what cracks me up is I am the exact opposite when it comes to band practice. If band practice is at 5, I'm like pulling into the driveway. I'm thinking about setting up my guitar, my amplifier, maybe tuning. I am not ready to go at 5 o'clock.
I'm with you, man.
Where do you stand on that, Dane?
I have no comment. I love you, Mark. I'm just glad you show up at all.
Oh man, we have the same thing in ours though, and you know what stinks is practices at my house. So I don't have an excuse. I can't be like, I gotta go somewhere. So it ends up just literally being like waiting, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, let's do it. Let's do the time. Because, halfway through it always happens where it's like you might not be the most excited, but like once you start doing it, you're like, okay, I'm all right. We can get through this.
There is an acceptable limit of lateness that you can be.
Oh yeah.
I think when it comes to band stuff or, just kind of social type things like that, in my head, I'm like, if I'm not there 10 minutes early, I'm late because military.
Yeah.
And it just got instilled in me that way. And that and my dad was always like the same way, on time all the time, never late. And because when you go to school or something, he was the teacher, so he had to be there at the time.
Right.
And then my mom was the opposite way, where she was habitually always late, and it was just so frustrating to everybody. And I saw that, and I was like, maybe I'll just be cool to people, and if I say I'm going to be there at a certain time, show up. And then you show up to a party because they're like, oh, the party's from 6 to midnight.
Right.
You show up at 6 and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're not supposed to be here till 8.
Yeah.
We just say 6 because everyone shows up late.
When does the fashionably
And then
late
you just
apply?
Yeah, and then you just sit there by yourself for 2 hours.
You all have your party supplies ready and everything.
Oh, hey.
McDonald's gift card and everything. Okay.
Hey, this would be a great segue, Mark, since you're here. Speaking of sitting alone by myself, how was dinner last night with the other people in the band?
Oh, dude, it was good. Okay, wait, I'm not sure. That was a smirky face. There was only one other member of the band.
Yeah, I was not invited though.
I'm caught right.
Brian wasn't a member, so it was the.
He's pretty much.
It was the experimentation of the Scott McEntee Blues Trio.
Ooh,
gotcha. Very cool.
Yes, and so we all thought it would be hilarious. What'll happen?
This will be funny. Don't tell Dane.
Yeah, dude, and it is. It's cracking me up. No, I feel bad. Dude, you should have seen Kathy today or last night when you sent the message, and then she kept showing me your Facebook post. She's like, babe, look. And I was like,
this is what depression looks like.
What are people doing tonight? Anybody want to watch this movie?
Right. Yeah. So, that was my retaliation. I was like, you know what? They don't want to include me. I'll just have my own party. So I went and saw a movie alone. and then when I got home, that's when the party started. Yeah. I had Tom and Anissa came over, and we watched the new remake of Evil Dead. Not as funny. Not funny at all, actually. Kind of gruesome. I think it was the movie Sam Raimi initially meant to make.
Right.
I think it was kind of his do-over, his mulligan.
But in terms of that comic undertone.
Knowing that Bruce Campbell is that whole thing now, but I think he really wanted to make a serious horror film. It's at the same cabin in the woods, if you've seen Evil Dead. And but then after we watched the serious remake of Evil Dead, we had to watch some Bruce Campbell. So I threw Ash versus the Evil Dead on, and we watched that for a little bit.
So I met Bruce Campbell once.
Wow. How'd that happen?
Actually, I never
He
really
dated
met
my
him.
mom.
No, so funny story. My parents moved up to Medford.
Oh, I knew it. Yeah.
They moved up to Medford, Oregon. And we were flying back. And when we got off the plane, I saw the sign, and I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, B. Campbell. And all I could think of is we had a basketball coach here in Ridgecrest with the same B. Campbell.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's how I was like, hey, wouldn't that be crazy if it was my old coach? And so I'm sitting out there, and we got our luggage, and I'm standing outside, and we're waiting for a car, and I'm looking over at this guy, and he's got really, really, really deep gray hair, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, God, I know that guy from somewhere.
He's so
I
handsome.
know that guy's from somewhere. Kate's, I know him. He looks over at me and waves, and all I could do was just like wave back, like in this like, hi. And it dawned on me.
Where did your hand come from?
It dawned on me 2 minutes later after he got in the limo when I was like, that was fucking Bruce Campbell.
Oh my God.
So that was my choice or my chance of meeting him, but it never happened. So I just waved like an idiot, and he got in his car and left me there. And
I mean, that was your chance to become best friends with him.
Well,
He seems like the kind of guy you maybe don't want to do that with.
You know what? Everyone out there, we flew on the same plane, so.
So anyway, Kathy your wife was showing you the Facebook messages or the posts that I was throwing out there.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the point of that?
To make me feel bad. She was just like, babe, why are you doing this to your friend? And I was like, I'm not doing anything, man. So she knew something was going down? Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I even went over to Scott's house before it happened.
Do you guys
with a peace offering?
You guys want some gummy bears?
Hoping to get invited.
Oh!
I said, hey, man, I have this record I don't really listen to. It's Tom Waits. It's cool. Here you go. And here's this other thing. I forget.
Thanks, man. Bye.
And then I brought him a Pennywise brand beer. The band Pennywise put out a beer.
Really?
Yeah. And so I brought him those. I was like, here you go, dude.
Wow.
And then that awkward silence for a minute. And then it was like, well, anyway, I guess I got a movie I got to go to now.
Wow.
You guys should share gummy bears.
Hey, I'm just whining like a little bitch right now. I really don't care.
I feel like a mediator, like, yes, and
no, I was like, something's happening. Like, why are the three of them meeting up with their wives? And is it because I'm not married?
No, it happens.
Should I go get married? I need a fourth wife.
So what's funny is we totally invited ourselves to the mac and cheese. I don't know why it didn't work with you, because that's what we were talking. I'm
a bit much sometimes.
Yeah, Scott asked me if I would play drums in this band that's going to play blues, and I was like, okay, because I've been playing cajon with the Tenorins, but I thought, all right, we'll see. I've got a drum set. I haven't played it in years, but we'll see. So
very cool, man.
So then at the Hot Sun Brew Oktoberfest, Brian and Scott showed up, and then they were like, when should we get together? And then Scott was like, he said something barbecue, and then I'm like, does that mean our wives are invited? Yeah. And then you could just see the look on their faces when they were like,
I don't know. He had,
and so
I have a description for that look.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how I felt Tom Waits night when
right.
I was invited, but my lovely wife was not. And I was like, I'm just waiting for someone to say, go get your wife and come back up here. But nobody said that to me or Ryan. So we were just like, okay, later. But anyhow, man, this segment of 15-Year-Old Girl Guys brought to you by Insert.
No, I actually just for me, if I invite somebody, I assume, or they can assume they can bring a person as long as it's not like my brother or something.
Yeah. You know? All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about etiquette for bringing your SO to something that you've been invited to.
Stinky otter.
See,
that's SO, right?
Yeah, you stinky otter.
I'm an outspoken, like, you can bring your spouses to my place. They're probably not going to feel comfortable.
right.
Like, it's just one of those things. I guess with me and my friends, it's just natural where I'm like, no, I'll tell you up front, like, hey, just you, like, come up, have some beers.
Right.
Other than that, like, hey, you should bring the kids and the fam up. Like, that's something
hey, no
else.
innies, only outies.
No. So when you hear me like, hey, man, you should come up so we can talk.
Wait, I like the other way. No outies.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it comes down to.
You guys like sausage? I'm having this little fest in my house.
Yeah. So how about etiquette when we're gigging, right? So I think Dane heard this story. When you're doing a show, does your wife ever feel like, hey, we were both standing there, but dude just came to talk to you? Do you ever get that, or no? Or does your wife attend your shows? Is she like every show you do, or because you have kids, sometimes she stays home with the kids?
Yep.
For the sight impaired that may be watching the video cast of this, Matt is giving a motion of shaking his head up and down.
Yep.
There's no video cast.
We just talked about this because Dane tried to strike up a conversation. It was 11 o'clock when we played last Saturday at the Brock the Relay, and it was
PM
late.
or AM? Okay,
PM, and it was really, really late.
The dark one.
And my wife, she came to the show. She came out specifically just for that, just to show her support for a good hour. Love her to death, but like Dane tried to strike a conversation with her, and she just was like, okay.
No, and she was, to clarify, she was wonderful. She was lovely.
No, but she
wasn't mad at me or anything.
She'll do it as support.
You, Matt, but the groupies have to go.
No, but you could just tell that poor woman was beat. I mean, she dealt with it all day because I was gone all day Saturday. She had the kids. She came out, and yeah, it was like a friendly.
And I don't know her that well either, so that could be why as well.
Oh well, my wife is.
I've only met her at the shows, I think.
She's a heavenly.
And when
optimist.
she comes to pick you up after the podcast.
Yeah, so this is a good example. Like I don't think I could pick your wife out in a lineup. And so I wasn't aware of it until we had done some shows, and my wife Kathy was like, man, that dude, I don't know, why he can't at least acknowledge that I'm here, say hi, whatever, when he comes up to start talking to you, blah, blah, blah. I think she was telling you about it. And then, and so, he used to play drums for you. And so, from that moment on, I thought, you know what? I want to make sure everyone feels included in our community. Right. So I made a special effort to learn the name of Brian's girlfriend Lacey and Dane's girlfriend Amanda, and then I made
it easy for him. I just picked a girl that had the easiest name to learn.
Mm-hmm. And so then very consciously, like the next time I saw them was like, hey Lacey, hello Amanda, and I swear they were like, hey Mark, what's going on, hi. But up until that point, like never spoke to them. Like maybe I had seen one with Dane and the other one with Ryan, but I don't know. Just weird band shit, right?
That's how it works, though. That's how it always works.
Mm-hmm. it's one of those things too, where if you're the performer, right? If you're the one, or if you're the main guy doing things, other people know you as the entertainer, as the person doing things. They don't know your spouse. They don't know, your kids or whoever else you're there with, because they just know you're the person on stage. So for me, like, I don't know, like, your banjo player's wife.
Great.
I don't know her.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met her, but,
you met most of the significant others in our band, though.
See, and that's the thing.
sense.
Like, so I might have, but it's one of those things where, like, well, I know Jason,
Right?
because I see him,
Right.
and we've talked. And
Right.
so until you start talking to somebody, you don't really know them.
Yep.
Even Kathy, I think it took a while before her and I were really talking.
Right,
And that's
right.
Kathy's Mark's spouse.
Right.
So, yeah, it's one of those, there is an etiquette. It is weird. It's just kind of like with anything, though. It just takes saying, hey, I'm here too. Sometimes
Yes.
it takes that person to speak up first.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't talk to me. They don't care. I'm here too. I exist. I'm a person. But it's like, hey, join in on the conversation. Start talking.
Right.
Right.
Let
right.
people know that you're there.
But don't you think by nature, the people that are up on the stage are already those types of people?
Yep.
Like, if dude would have, waved at me, I'd have been like, hey, what's going on, man? My name's Mark. And then, later on been like, what the heck? But yeah, sometimes.
Well, everybody's
I wonder-
afraid to do that, or quite a few people are afraid to do that.
I am, and I'm on stage.
Who are
Yes.
you?
I don't know.
I assumed you came with Mark.
I'm Lobster Man today.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few. All right, welcome back. We are back from our break. We're here with Mr. Mark McCoy.
Hello. Hey, Dane, I want to tell you a funny story real quick.
All right, let's hear it, man.
So we were talking about, webcamming and casting to the World Wide Web and all that business. And so I was telling you about this new piece of gear I got, little video switcher. And you were talking about camera 1, camera 2. So funny story. I'm working with my son because my background's all in video production. I used to make the cheesy local TV commercials that you would see on your cable TV.
Hell
back
yeah.
in the day.
So it's your fault.
It's totally my fault, dude. And so my son, Ryan, must have been, I don't know, maybe like 10, 11 years old, but he was getting into what dad was doing with video production. So I was like, yeah, you can come out on a shoot with me one day. And so the first thing we got to do is assign cameras and camera names. Right? Camera 1, camera 2. Yeah. You see where this is going. Okay, Ryan, so what are we going to call this one? And he's all, Elvis. And I was like, okay, and this one, Kermit. So instead of camera 1, camera 2, it was Elvis and Kermit. And it's my
Those
funny
are,
story.
which ironically are the two things I can imitate really well. I'm camera Kermit.
What was it? Your rainbow impression that you did?
Oh yeah, the Rainbow Connection.
Oh, last week.
Where he sings that.
Yeah.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
You guys did this last
What's
week.
on the other side?
Yes.
And then the other one is I'm all shook up. Oh. Well, I do the Elvis a lot better when I'm drinking with Mark in the band room.
I like to-
Whenever we start doing Danzig songs, they start singing them like Elvis.
It's awesome.
I liked last week's podcast where you guys suggested doing one impersonation for a guest. Like, what's one good impersonation you could do?
Oh, yeah, no, I have nothing, man. I got nothing.
That's even better.
Yeah. I mean, again, if I'm drinking, sometimes the B-52 guys, I used to think I had a pretty good...
You can do that.
Yeah, I used to think I had a good Kermit impression, but yeah, no, mine sucks compared to that.
Dude.
Come on, let's hear the B-52 guy.
I can't find him.
The love shack. Life is a little old place where we can get together.
Bane's Podcast. That's where it's at. Yeah. Bane's Podcast. That's where it's at.
Oh, it works.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
It's ironically, I wasn't here last week, but I did want to bring up that this pop filter remarkably smells like whiskey and Brian's breath. Oh my god, it's drenched in whiskey.
It's still wet.
Oh, and it's still wet. Brian, I'm looking at.
Makes you wonder if somewhere there's a studio engineer that after the session he's just like,
What's that? Oh god. Oh, that would be disgusting.
Just sniffing and licking that pop filter, man.
It's a job for everybody.
We have a designated pop filter cleaner lady that comes by, but she hasn't been around yet.
Oh shit.
she also empties out the ashtray, so.
Poor lady.
I don't smoke, but here at the studio, my house, there is a lot of cigarette butts just hanging around because apparently all the cool kids do smoke.
All the neighbors have thrown it over the fence too. Looks like an ashtray. Fuck them.
Even the dog next door smokes. It sucks, dude.
God, that dog should smoke.
It's one thing I love. Not the one thing. It's one of the things I love about America. Yep. Could smoke cigarettes and drink whiskey.
And soak your pop filters.
Is there
in
a place
whiskey.
where you can't in the world?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've been more places than me.
Oh, that's true.
Utah.
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere.
What? Smell the mountain air, man, or something? The old Johnny Cash song, man.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Could you imagine?
That's the best I got. That's the best I got.
In today's world, just being able to show up with an acoustic guitar, right? Be like Johnny Cash, just be a rock star with just a guitar.
I do that. I do that all the time.
$40 million DJ behind you.
Yep.
No.
Just show up and rock the shit out of the place.
You know, interestingly enough, I was watching A Star Is Born, the new one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
How was it?
I'll get into it when the movie theater people show up next time. They were supposed to be here tonight, but they had something come up because that's something they want to talk to me about. So we're going to do it next week. We'll talk to them. If they don't show up next week, I'll tell you all about it. Go see it. Check it out. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down, really quick.
3/4 up.
Okay.
Like,
I get you. 3/4. Wait a minute. Like
a little more than a half stack, you know? So basically, there was a part in it at the beginning where, so basically the setup is Bradley Cooper is a big time rocky blues star, country-ish rock blues, whatever that genre would be. And Lady Gaga is...
Gaga?
Yeah.
Why can't you just say...
I don't want to say it.
Why can't you just say
He's practicing his California accent.
Have you ever heard anybody say Gaga?
No.
I refuse to call it Gaga.
I've never heard anyone say Gaga.
And, so she is somebody who's a songwriter, and he finds her in a bar singing. So basically, she's writing songs, and he brings her on stage and was like, "Let's do your song."
Right.
And she's like, no. Okay. It was one of those moments where you're like, that wouldn't happen. Knowing the people I know, they were like, yeah, take a little more convincing than that to play in front of like 20,000 people your song that you've never played before.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was thinking about, going out and just being a songwriter, because eventually she gets into the pop scene like Lady Gaga does in real life.
God, you got to stop saying it like that. It is fucking killing me.
Isn't her name Stephanie? Can you just say Stephanie?
So anyway, Steph, she gets into the pop star life, and he was like, you don't need dancers. You don't need all this other garbage. Just do your fucking song.
Right.
And that's one of the turmoils in the there's like 7 stories in it. It's weird. But it was one of those things where you were talking about just being a songwriter with a guitar and just play. Like you can do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool. But yeah, man, it's tough. I think entertainment is tough. So
You'll never make it doing just that.
Right. On the flip side.
Anymore.
Right. So with the dancing and stuff, I don't know. I think if it's natural, so I'm not a big fan of the formula thing. You know, we need, 2 dancers and saxophone player, whatever. I'm going to put together this dream band. I don't know. Maybe that's cool. You got a bunch of really good people together. But I think Madonna, right, back in the 80s, she
Open your heart to me.
She was a singer, a songwriter. She could dance, and she knew how to entertain. Dude, I'm not sure why he's laughing. Like,
because that was awesome.
Yeah,
that's one of her best songs.
Okay,
I was right up there with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I hate you guys.
Sorry, Mark. Keep going, buddy.
No, like I think there was something. There's something there. She clearly enjoyed doing that, and
Well, I mean, when she wasn't trying to have Dennis Rodman's baby.
Dennis Rodman. Oh, God.
I read his book, Bad As Me, and he talks very graphically about Madonna trying to have his baby.
Hey, man, we're not in
I
war
believe it.
with North Korea anymore because of that, man.
There you go again, right? Basketball player, but also, freak entertainer. Like the dude could have just gone out and whatever, dribbled the ball or whatever you do in basketball, make a goal. But instead he crazy hair, crazy attitude. Yep. He entertained, which I'm sure filled seats in whatever stadium he was playing in.
Oh,
right?
he was really fucking good.
Yeah,
he was a rebounding.
Yeah, but he was
machine.
known as the Worm.
No, but he was a rebounding machine.
He was
his stats
top records, man.
Oh God,
right.
Sorry, my basketball fan.
So same thing with Madonna, right? That same period where people were like, ooh, I'm stepping out. I'm not doing, fitting this mold. So
Right.
I give them credit for that. And then I think we all struggle as performers, where that line is. I know in my younger days, in my first band back in the 80s, I stood and played guitar. And the most important thing to me is that I was hitting the right notes at the right time.
Right.
Where now when I play with Dane, I'm the opposite. I'm like, okay, I'm having fun. I'm doing this because I want to have fun. And shit, man, I hope I'm hitting the right notes. But I really enjoy loosening up, moving around.
He drops to his knees at one point.
The beard extension, all that stuff, right? It's entertaining.
Right.
And the feedback I get from our fans is like, dude, you guys are really freaking entertaining and you put on a great show.
You sound like shit, but
except they don't
But you were
say
fun
that.
to watch run around.
Sure.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't say that. I think it's an addition. I think in addition to sounding cool, there's lots of shenanigans happening. You guys are really good at it too, man. When the whole band gets out there, that interaction they have with the crowd,
thanks, man.
That's all good. But
No, you.
Well, no, not you. The rest
Not
of the
you,
band.
the rest of it. Yeah, we talked about this in the last one with.
but overproduction, I hate.
No, you
I
do
hate
it, man. You got style up there
overproduction.
still.
Yeah, you got style, man.
But no, there's a lot to be said for that. I know we talked about this last time, and we're talking about it again. But it's stage presence can go a lot further than actual talent. And I never understood that. Our singer constantly says, Josh says it all the time, move around, dance around, because he's dancing like a fucking fanatic.
Yeah.
Wait,
And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking
wait.
at him, I gotta hit this note, you dick.
Let's clarify. He spins, stomps his foot, and claps.
Hey,
Yeah.
that is
this.
more
This is
more
the
than I do.
signature move, and it's great.
And you know what? It is very effective. I enjoy watching it.
My only concern is checking to make sure my tuner pedal still has a battery that works.
You just kind of, you're like, I moved around. I
I moved
glanced.
around. I had to tune that again.
I looked somebody dead in the eye earlier.
Yeah, they smiled at me and winked.
And then I looked away. I moved.
No,
Stepped forward and I stepped backwards.
and I hid.
Actually, I felt kind of weird because I bum rushed the stage during a Ramones song that you guys were covering. And I was like, oh, I hope they don't mind. I've never done that before. I've always wanted to, though. It's like kind of that punk rocky thing to do, And I was just like, I wanted to sing the Hey Ho's. Let's go, And
he jumped on stage.
I jumped on stage in front of Matt and then behind Jason, and Jason didn't know I was there. And so I grabbed him real quick because I was going to use his mic, right? And so we both sing it, and he's trying to play banjo, and by the time we were done, I was walking off stage. He's like, Dane, I literally shit my pants. Like, I did not know you were going to grab me from behind.
Oh,
not like that, though.
No, speaking of shows, I'm excited for you guys' upcoming adventure.
That's right. Let's plug our show. October 27th starts at 8 p.m. at Fury Sports Bar in Ridgecrest, California.
Dog.
Well, Desert
stuck-
Danish is opening. That's my solo set into a dog set.
That's right. Dogs added some songs to our set. We have an original. So we're doing some original stuff, and we threw in a few more covers, and going back and visiting some stuff we were doing and dropped, and now we're like, let's see what we can do with it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have Tanked and Kill 'Em with Kerosene playing
Very
with us
excited to
that
play
night.
with them again.
We are super stoked.
It's going to be such a damn fun time, man.
It's going to be awesome.
Matt, you're going to be there, right?
Yep. Are you guys going to do a Love Shack cover? Because I want to hear more.
On the jukebox.
No, we aren't.
Damn it. No, I'm excited. I know we talked about that right before. I was just like, I cannot wait to relax. That's half the fun. I mean, it's always fun to entertain, but every now and then it's fun to sit back and be like, I get to just show up and drink and laugh and have fun.
Yes.
You guys have been doing shows a lot lately, though, too. So you've been busy.
Yeah.
And building fences, and you're doing the fair, and
Getting melanoma.
getting melanoma. Slowly, though. Slowly.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a process. It's a finer kind of cancer.
the fair show is coming up with this wonderful man to my left doing sound.
That's
Thank
right.
God.
MC Square to be out there all weekend, running the main stage.
Actually, speaking of cancer, I just did the an hour of walking for the Relay for Life, which is to bring cancer awareness.
They're aware, dude.
I got thrown
I
off.
think-
On that.
Cancer and it sucks.
I got thrown off on that one.
I just wanted to hang out with my girlfriend. She was the one doing it.
Yeah, girlfriends we're down with.
No, it was. I heard it rained.
It did rain. One of the few times during the year, and it had to be the day that 24 hours of walking was happening. But it really cooled it off. It was cool. So, Mark, we're glad you're here. We heard part 1. We ended when you were 19 years old. What you got from there, man? What happens after 19 for you?
Whoa, dang. I thought you were going to be all, we got 2 minutes and then we're done. Let's see, after age 19.
Would you rather not talk about it?
No. Oh, this is funny. I did not mentally prepare for it, so this will be fun. Let's see. I went to work, actually doing a rad job. I was doing computer-aided drafting, but like having to go to work every day, I was like, man, this sucks. But I was living on my own. I had to pay bills and whatnot. And so if you recall last time I told you about my parents, right? My Marine Corps mother, my Navy dad, super awesome people. And so they were like, hey, are you sure you don't want to go to school to learn how to become a recording studio engineer? And I was like, man, that sounds pretty damn good. So I did. I went, I was 20 years old. So I worked like a year and a half. And went to Ohio, went to this place, the recording workshop. It was a credited satellite campus of the
For
Berkeley
Harvard or
School.
Berkeley, yeah.
Berkeley School of Music. So we had all these like really super smart dudes there that like you play a song and they'll tell you what notes they just heard and chords and what scale it's in.
I think you said you had like 7 masters from that or something. like that.
Yeah. So
We're gonna have to listen to those someday.
So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm down. So I packed up that red guitar that I
The
play.
Gibson?
No, the Aria.
Okay.
Yeah, I packed that thing up and went out to Ohio, and it was a super cool experience, man. We spent first 2 hours in study hall learning math and acoustics and electronics and all that stuff, and then we do like 8-10 hours in the studio,
Man, that's awesome.
applying whatever we had learned. So I got the campus was 4 professional grade recording studios and 2 world class grade recording studios and the lecture hall. And so, yeah, we did a lot of recording on 2-inch tape, big giant MCI consoles, isolated drum, vocal, guitar booths, choice pickup microphones, and all the nerdy. Ooh, pop the one open. All the nerdy stuff behind.
It's always when you're trying to be as quiet as possible. It always is loud.
Yeah, and that's and then being able to apply. Hey man, we learned a dual diaphragm condenser microphone would be great to throw 12 feet out from a Marshall half stack. Let's see what happens. And I got to do some really, really cool stuff. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's part 2.
Yeah, there we go, man.
No, but I mean, I can imagine the at that time, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was a lot of experimentation that was allowable. Everything seems to be so cookie cutter. You have to follow this format. If you don't follow this, you're going to have shit. And I mean, you were at least in that generation that got to experiment with variations of, hey, if we put this here or we do this here.
Right. Yeah. Putting a flanger on the overhead, drum mics.
Right.
Yeah, which Led Zeppelin did. But, we experimenting with stuff like that. The studio, what was really great, well, a billion things. Because if you remember from that previous episode, recording and audio engineering is kind of my passion. And so actually being in that environment. But yeah, dude, where you could experiment even with simple things. So, I want to mic this guitar amp. There's, the textbook way to do it. But I did a session where I mic'd it at like 6 feet, 12 feet, and 18 feet. So I had 3 channels of in an isolated, like, giant studio room.
That's awesome.
And so I had 3 guitar tracks to work with, but the timing was slightly off on each one. And so you get this cool, like, really full effect that sounds like hundreds of guitars. And so we got to do all kinds of stuff like that. Just being able to not so much delve into digital production.
Right.
In 1991, when I went, Pro Tools had just released their 2-channel version. Yeah. Yep. So, so that was super awesome. And
I'm envious. We don't get to do that. We just get to. Well,
I mean,
at the same
do.
time from a.
I do the post production for the podcast every time.
My bad.
And
it's kind of like a live recording.
Do it.
I come here and I talk and I leave after I drink.
I am sure
you're a real piece of work, Matt.
I have no doubt that there's. This is a part of their plan now. Definitely. I'll bet it's part of the curriculum, podcasts and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we did a lot of like Foley work for film. See,
that's awesome.
I'm getting into the unsexy stuff. So it wasn't all like Marshall half stacks and all that. We also did a lot of Foley work.
He's eating. Hold on.
You want another gummy bear?
So a few friends of mine are in recording or audio school program tracks, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And one of them said, he's doing special effects stuff. The other one's doing composing and Foley work right now.
Right.
So I'm sure that's all part of that as well. And I would imagine that Foley work would actually be one of the bigger things where you could actually make money at, because, like you were saying last time, you have GarageBand on your phone. Right. We're in my house and I have a studio, essentially. It's not the best, but, it's something that I could edit and post and make it, pretty dang good. It's at everybody's fingertips now. So doing the recordings and things like that is a lot easier. Whereas Foley work, you kind of have to be watching the movies when they're making the movies. And you have to be making the sounds along with it and things that make it go with it and the background noises and all that.
Right. And again, this isn't partying all day, right? Drinking beers. Like, dude, Foley artists
all day.
Dudes.
Unless
work your ass
the scene
off,
is a bunch of dudes drinking beer.
Right.
And then
So, funny story.
Oh, here you go, Matt.
I have a funny story for you, Dane.
Hey guys, we're out drinking.
But I still okay. Take that, Brian. Take that right back. I'm pouring.
So
beer
we
all
did.
Since I had a beer handy.
So we did. One of our assignments was score to film, and we were in 4-man teams, and we had a sampler, and so this was, it came out.
I need to get one for this
sampling came
studio.
out in the 80s, but it was fairly new technology, and it wasn't something that you could buy at Walmart for $5. Like
Right.
now, you can buy the little piano and say something in it, and then play it back.
Or you
like,
can, or the app on your phone or something.
Man, yeah. But back then, it required a freaking sampler, which was a keyboard and a little computer all in one. And so we had to score a fight scene in a kung fu movie. And so you know where I'm going with this. So what we did was we pulled up the porn movie sound effects. So every time dude would punch the other dude, it'd be all and we did our whole project with porn sound effects library on the kung fu fight scene.
Oh, damn. That's so good.
No, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and we got an A. Our instructor showed it to every other instructor because he was like, dude, my team fucking wins this year. Look at this shit. And they laughed their asses off. And they were like, you creative bastards.
Except that last sound dub where it was like, have you been tested? Where does that fit?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff.
A good one, Matt.
You guys pause for a second. We're like, this motherfucker's sick. No, that is
No, that's good advice.
my intro and recording, Mark, was a Fisher Price, one of those Fisher Price tape recorders, where you could run around. And,
Like from the 80s?
yeah,
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah.
and we put it up, and then
That's where I learned how to do my Kermit voice just all day long, trying it in that, recording and listening to it. Yeah.
But those were,
are there so many?
that's when you could buy a bundle of cassettes, 6 cassettes for $4, and throw them in there and just keep recording. And what?
Oh yeah. Did you take the piece of tape and put it over the copy protection
Right?
tabs?
Yep.
I definitely. I mean, I've never done that. Wait, are they still getting people for that?
No, I don't think anybody owns the rights to cassette anymore.
I know that's funny because I just got 6 VHSs during the podcast.
Yeah.
A package arrived with 6 VHS tapes.
I want to see if there's scotch tape over the tabs.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's on the other side?
Your Kermit voice.
I need to stop drinking.
You should do a Lady Gaga song in a Kermit voice. I don't know why that bugs me so much. It kills me.
If you get a chance sometime, Comedy Central did a thing with Nick Swartzen where he played Gary Gaga, her brother.
But
he was
right
a
there, you just said it normal. You just said it normal.
No, because that's
Yeah.
what they called him.
Oh, Gary Gaga.
Yeah, but I think he actually pronounced it that way. I think that's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
And but he's on the police force, but he wears the same headpieces that she does, and he's all fancy the stupid outfits and stuff. But he's a cop on the force.
Oh man.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's pretty great. If I can find a YouTube clip of it, I'll throw it up on the website. Gary Gaga.
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 I'm just
Anyway,
I'm
this is all
envious.
about Mark. Let's talk about
I'm
Mark.
envious, Mark. If I could go back in time,
If
a
I
time
could
machine,
turn back time,
I would totally just want to do this.
Yeah. Probably the best decision I made. The party was really good in Ridgecrest at that time, but yeah, I needed a break.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the campus was in the middle of the forest. I've been looking like at this thing right between Dane's eyes for the visually impaired. There's a mic stand in the way, so I just moved it.
Hey, man.
Probably screwed up all the audio.
Oh my god!
These are
Whole
fancy
studio.
$20 Samsons.
You know what? We should get. These are Samsung. This is Samsung as well. So I have a scissor boom mic that's attached to the table, whereas the other guys are using a tripod boom stand.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that was a fancy Samson one.
This is
The ones we were originally going to buy were like $5, and I did not trust them.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because I was like, we're gonna put them up, and then the mics are heavy, so it's just gonna go and just fall down, right? Say I'm a Foley artist myself.
yeah,
That can also be used for a door closing.
yeah.
And so I took a chance. I found some.
Or when something depletes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And so some kid was selling this on FB, and I don't want to give them.
No.
They're not sponsors. I'm not
No.
kidding.
Buckbook?
I call it the social media.
Face back. and it's cool because it does the little swivel, so close and far and far and close, and then it goes the up and down if you want it to.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I like making it go up and down.
For the visually impaired, it's a clamp-on style stand, but pivots and goes this way, and it has a connector at the end.
It also goes. No, it actually.
That one does not. That one's solid, bro.
It's been holding up pretty good. So for $50, I got this stand and an Audio Technica condenser mic, and I was like, that's pretty cool, because those mics sell for about $100 brand new. So I feel like I made out on this deal.
Like little what you'd use for ride cymbal or something.
No, one of these.
Really?
Yeah, condenser mic.
Nice.
I got a
Not a bad. That was a fine for $50 in my opinion.
I got a pretty sweet Fisher Price.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Mark a little more. We've hit the hour mark, so we're gonna keep going. But
Okay.
let's definitely. We brought you in to hear this story, and I really want to keep trucking on it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's a powerful story. It's got 3 parts, man.
It does have 3. 3, count them.
And according to the last podcast you were on, the third one's the best. So that's why I'm trying to push through to get to this third one.
Oh, damn. Yeah. So,
what are you doing tomorrow? You want to finish the third one tomorrow?
Watch after this. After this, he never shows up again. I'm never coming back.
Damn it!
You're never getting part 3.
What was the third part?
Yep. Yeah, and there is. What's funny?
It's like watching A New Hope and Empire, but not getting to watch.
But what happened?
Jedi.
Jedi Returns?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Okay. Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah. The middle part.
No, bro, you
is
said it,
like
Yoda.
fairly boring. I mean, I went to school. So it's funny, man. I thought I'm going to bust into the music industry. This is going to be my life. It's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. How lucky am I? My parents gave me this opportunity. All that stuff. So
Illusions of grandeur, my friend.
Right. I moved to San Diego because it's a bigger market than Ridgecrest. I think, okay, San Diego, my sister and brother-in-law and their kids live there. And so I move in with them and I get a job doing data entry to, so I can eventually, after a few months, I move into this other place, and I got a roommate, but I'm paying, rent and stuff, which that shit was important to me. Like, okay, I got to at least be, support myself.
Right.
And
it's a great way to think too.
Yep. Doing data entry. And that's when living down there, I'd go see Suicidal some like 3 times. One time they were playing with Megadeth in the freaking livestock barn at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. And so, but not during the fair, now, nothing, it was just a Suicidal Megadeth show, like out of nowhere, like right arm. And, so that was cool.
I caught that, but it was subtle. I like it.
Yeah.
He said right arm.
Right arm. And I found like a new group of friends to party with and stuff. So, I was having a good time. And my kid, like, at some point, my kid came to live with me. He was like 4. So I was doing single parent dad thing where I'd like drop him off at the babysitter's, go to work, pick him up, go home. But I was also like partying. So I was not the best parent. I was not getting Father of the Year that year for sure. However, at least I was taking care of him. Right? And so, yeah, man. So I did the San Diego thing, and then eventually I was like, damn, it's expensive to live here. I know where there's a place where it's like cheap to live, man. So I loaded up my car at that point. And so before I wound up homeless, my son had gone back to live with his mom. Poor dude, man. We ping pong a lot, but he's a cool kid, and I love him, and he loves me. And
kids are surprisingly resilient. You know, it is tough, but
it's hard to. I mean, you could speak from experience. I mean, having early at that age,
right.
It's not that you can't do it because
I skipped the part where I was a senior in high school and had a kid. I think I skipped that part, but my last year of high school.
But a lot of people, what they don't talk about, it's not that you can't do it. It's because, the first thing you hear about is somebody in high school is like, how the fuck are they going to be a parent and this and that?
Yeah.
It's not that you can't and you're incapable of doing it. It is that you are growing up at the same time your kid is.
Right. So my son and I, because he's 29 now, he's almost 30 years old, and we talk about growing up together. Like he and I grew up together because eventually, man, he must have been like 3 because when he was 4, I finally filed for custody and got custody and, did everything right from that point forward. But up until then, there was a lot of dumbassery, because, I didn't know how to be a parent. I assumed the courts would be against me. People kept telling me get a lawyer. I was like working minimum wage, doing data entry. And so I was working at a wholesale nursery. So there'd be like, 300 folks out in the field. A lot of them would come up from Tijuana on work visas, and then there were like 10 or 15 of us in the office.
Right.
Well, I guess 15 or 20 in the office, getting orders prepped and all that. And so my job was data entry. So I mentioned this because then in 92, this company called Walmart came along, and their thing was they sold shit real cheap. And all of a sudden, the nursery I was working at that had a nice profit margin had to reduce extremely that profit margin in order to get their product into Walmart. And if they didn't, another nursery was going to do it. So they laid off half of us in the office. And we all got pink slips. And so I lost that job and that's how I ended up homeless. And that's my jab at big box retail. Even though I was there yesterday getting paper towels.
But that's it. That's it. Just paper towels.
Yeah, that's it. And the
you just can't find them anywhere else.
No, you go to Albertsons, you're going to spend $1.49 when we can get Sam's quality paper towels for 99 cents.
So you guys, I would but before that, when I first got down there, first got the job, was like, ooh, I'm making it. I would literally stock recording studios. I'd pull out the yellow pages within like 100-mile radius. I'd cold call them, knock on their doors, and they're always like, dude, who are you here to see? Like, no one.
You're like, maybe you?
Do you even know like a local band? No. And they're like, dude, here's the thing. In our business, dude's brother is going to get a job before he hires some kid off the street. And I was just like, for me, that was a huge life lesson. Like, it didn't matter how much knowledge I had, what my talent was. It at that point became clear it was who do I know? So, so I started going to a lot of suicidal shows, which was awesome.
Suicidal tendencies.
Yes.
For those that don't know.
There's a show?
It's about love, not
I was going to say,
suicide.
Mark, we gotta get you into counseling, bud.
It's a whole convention. They talk about different types of ropes you can use.
How do you know if it's a hit?
The medication section, the sharp objects.
Anyway.
Yeah, that shit's not funny, bros. Anyhow, no, suicidal tendencies. It means love. So dude, I lost my job. So I was like, crap. So I packed up everything I owned in my car and rolled back to Ridgecrest because I knew a dude who had like couch surfed at my place for a long time, like 5 months, 1 year. And so I was like, hey, what's up, bro? I have a job. I spent like 2 nights in my car. It's like, I'm just going to be homeless and live in my car. And I did that. And then I ended up on my buddy's couch. So,
Man.
and then that's how I met my first wife, Jenny, because she was his wife's best friend. So it was the holidays. We were partying. Her husband at the time was in rehab. So we were just like hanging out. Yep. Turns out the room I was staying in was also the room that they would let her stay in when they didn't want her to drive home. So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like there was no Kavanaugh action going on or anything, but
I don't get the reference. Okay, let's move on.
So, yeah, that's
for
how
those listening 10 years from now. That was a current event.
Yeah, that happened this week. So, yep, that's how I met my first wife. And then, let's see, she insisted I get a job.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
lame.
Yeah. Oh, and she got pregnant. And eventually,
from who?
Yeah, not her husband, bro. So,
wait a minute,
dude, it was a fucking mess.
Oh, dude!
Wow.
Yeah. And so we had our first child shortly after that, and around that same time, I got custody of my oldest boy. So. Then she also divorced her husband and we got married. So that all happened in like, say 14-month period. And so all of a sudden I went from like, homeless, musician, studio engineer, living out of his car to family guy. So yeah, she made me get a job. So I went to work at Coast to Coast. And, here's the thing, man. I did not forget my experience in San Diego. So I'm working at the hardware store. I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm paying bills.
Right.
And so that's good when you have a family. I understand. And things are jiving. And my boss says, hey, we got this film crew coming in to do our commercial spot. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we do a TV commercial every month. You know, we have a contract with the ad agency through the cable company, and we do these commercials on TV. Of course, we were a really poor family because I was working at the hardware store, and it was now me, my wife, and 2 boys. So I didn't have no cable, but I was like, what? Making TV commercials? That sounds freaking rad, right?
Right.
And so I was like, hey man, I'd like to be the liaison and, you know, whatever you need. And he's like, if you can take care of them and just make sure, you know, whatever aisle they're shooting in, that it's clean. If they need some product, you get them some product.
Right.
Like, you know, can you do that? And I was like, hells yeah. So they showed up and you guys, I just kissed the ass of the woman that was running that operation.
That's awesome.
Yep. Her name was Jana. And, I was just like, what do you need? Can I get you some water? Would you like soda? Oh, you need some help moving
do you need
all
anyone
that gear?
beat up?
Yeah. That kind of stuff. Yep. We got these chainsaws, you know, dismemberments, something that's happening. Like,
can I help you build a fence at your house?
Yep. And so the first thing I did was like make sure I was taking care of my current employer and doing what he had asked me to do. But you know, the side hustle in the background, I'm trying to weasel into this production crew because I'm like, that's rad. They got video cameras and tripods and lights and microphones and backdrops, and like it just looked like a super rad job.
Side hustling.
Side hustle.
In between stocking the compression notes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So eventually I ended up, they asked if I wanted to shoot some video for them. That lady, Jana, offered me a part-time position. Look, 2 days a week. You're going to shoot video for the commercials here in Ridgecrest. And I was like, rad. So I do hardware store 4 days a week, cable company 2 days a week. And then eventually the company bought the Kern Valley cable system. And they were like, hey, we need somebody to shoot and edit Kernville and continue to shoot Ridgecrest. Because Ridgecrest, I was just a shooter. And then I'd hand footage over to an editor and he would cut the commercials together. And they needed someone to run production in the Kern Valley, and offered me a full-time position with the company that had medical benefits, and it was a job in production. And my thought process was I understood signal flow with audio,
right?
That I was going to fake it till I made it with video, and surprisingly, a lot of the same principles apply to video, and so that's what I did, man. That's how I started my, I don't know, I think I'm year 25 year career in production. And so I went to work for them full time, and made TV commercials, eventually got promoted to marketing manager. In the meantime, I had another child, my youngest boy, Kevin. So I now had 3 boys. Brandon, Ryan, and Kevin. And
do you get the jokes all the time from people like, oh, did you figure out how it works?
No.
I nonstop, like, people like,
the jokes I got, dude, were far more rude. They were just like, dude, whatever you touch, you get it pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, well, every time you fucking unzip your pants, a baby pops out.
Well, yeah. That's basically what I was getting at.
You can't take care of yourself, Matthew. How are you going to take care of 3?
And it started at
So
1.
they have these things called condoms. It's against my religion.
We don't want your sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So, yeah.
What's this Trojan minimum?
There's a Magnum size.
Do you have Trojan lights?
Do you have the Irishman one? Can I get 10 Trojan minimums?
Anyway.
And so dig this. Unbelievable. As I'm working at the hardware store and shooting video, I start cold calling in Ridgecrest. I literally opened the Ridgecrest phone book up to studios. I find this guy named Tom Neeson. If you guys haven't heard of him, he's sort of a legend in this town. Not everybody likes him. But anyhow, I cold called that dude, and he's like, you want to see my studio? Yeah. And he was asking me, he's like,
now that sounds like a Kavanaugh thing. Hey, kid, you want to see my studio?
Have a drink of this. So, he's asking me stuff like, why you want to see my studio? Why are you calling me? Stuff like that. And I'm like, here's the thing,
studio
dude.
your pants?
I'm like, dude, I just got out of school. Like, I know all this shit. I've worked with all these bands. I know how to produce a master. I know what's up. And,
hey, remind me that when I finish my album, by the way.
Yep. And I'm like, I want to make money. So I want to see what kind of gear you have, because if you got cool gear, then I'm going to go out and try to find some bands that want to book some studio time.
Right.
I pay you, rent your studio. I make some cash as the engineer, and then, life is good. And so he was like, yeah, when you get off work, because I was working 6 days a week. And you know what, guys? Here we go. Here's my political 2 cents on this whole thing. At that time, family of 4, single income. Yes, we received food stamps, and it sucked. And it was like a 6-month period in my life. But we were literally under the poverty level with the money I was making. No benefits, any of that stuff. And so,
Don't worry, bro. The government got it back in your taxes nowadays.
yeah, they did.
Got it back.
Hells yeah. So I just want to put that out there that, it's not always some dude sitting around, whatever. And
It is a lot, but not because
always.
there was times where I was unemployed and had to go on food stamps a few times.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
No judgment here.
Cool.
Not for that, at least.
Yeah. So, and
You ever
this
heard of
point
a,
of my life,
just
multiple
apparently your
babies
skin.
with one is one of-
Did you finally figure out how it works?
No. However, I did come up with an alternate solution, and it's rad. I didn't come up with it. It's already very well
We'll
known.
talk
I
off
took
air about that one.
advantage of
Hey,
it.
kid, you want to see my studio?
Right. So back to that Kavanaugh here. So dude, he's super cool. He's like, yeah, man, come check it out. And I show up there, and he had built a studio with an isolation room for the control room. So it was a separate structure, but it wasn't like a garage that he converted. He literally built this out back, ISO drum booth, studio, separation, big glass pane, control room. And he was mastering to DAT, digital audio tape, which was what we were using in school. And he had a rad console and some great microphones. And I was like, all right, cool. He's all, go get some bands, man, and come back when you got some bands and some money.
Go
And I
get
was
some
like,
bands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Do you want anything with the bands?
Straight up. So, of course, every band I talked to, like, you guys know how it is. They were like, dude, we don't have any money for a stupid studio session. And so dude calls me up, and he's all, I got this client. She wants to come in, produce this album. I asked you questions. You had the right answers. I'd like you to be the studio engineer for this project. I won't pay you shit, but I will pay you. And I was like, I'm in. So I'm working 6 days a week. It was the summer of 92. And then like 3 nights a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I want to say, something like that. We were in the studio working on this album project for Jackie Smith. So we were using music that had been written by someone else. And in order to do all this right, we had to become members of a union. So we became members of the Canadian Music Association. The British Columbian Music Association was the union we became members of, which meant we had to get paid. However, it was not much.
Fuck you,
and
They paid us in sardines.
she came in. We assembled the band. We had the music the first time around, and so I'm doing, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours in the studio at night, working 8, 9 hours already. So you guys, I'm like, I'm doing it, and I'm trying. I'm schmoozing the manager for this production crew,
Right.
and so we get a good way into this project and realize, like, all of the band guys are just fucking tweaking out of their gourd. And so the studio owner, by this point, he's like, dude, you're fresh out of school. You know all this crap. You were flipping all the right knobs, dialing it in. I love your sound. This is awesome. I'm old. My ears are going.
Right.
But you have all this like new stuff. This is awesome. We got to fire the band. And I'm like, wait, why are you? I'm just the new kid, man. I'm just the kid. Why? What? How? And so he was like,
He's like, oh, by the way, you're the one who has to fire him.
basically that's what he was getting at. And I was like, hell no, you're crazy. I've never fired anyone in my life. And so he's like, here's what's going down, man. I'm calling everyone together tomorrow night. I want you to be here. I'm going to let the band go. Jackie will be here. And so we fired that band and brought in a new band, and typical studio stuff. We selected the bass player. We selected the guitar player. Not that these guys had ever played together, but they had to know music theory. They had to know how to read music. We already had purchased the songs.
Right.
So, and dude, it was really one of the coolest experiences. I received a $100 bill for that job.
Awesome.
Yeah. At the end of the summer, I calculated.
And a can of sardines.
I was at like 9 cents an
It's
hour.
part of the union. I don't know why they bring it up.
9 cents an hour I made.
wow.
And I'm sure the paperwork, I'm sure he showed that I worked like 2 hours, probably was union
Right.
rate for a studio
50
engineer.
bucks.
Yep.
An hour.
And yeah. But it was a cool experience. And that dude brought me in for like 2 more album projects. And,
Very cool.
He would
That's
find
awesome.
these clients that they had money and they wanted to make an album, and so we'd get the music and the rights and produce records out of the studio. It was super cool. And then went on to live my life as a Christian right-wing conservative, attending church, teaching, did a whole church kids Sunday school thing for a season, lots of wed, marriage. For
How long is a God season?
Right.
1 year?
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you bind your life by non-Mayan calendars, that's fine.
Actually, by Christian terms, it's 4 months. Birth on December 25th.
When's the Super Bowl?
resurrection?
Lots of stuff. So no more heathen music stuff for me. No shillelaghs, no bars. I was knee deep in the worship ministry.
Man.
You know some dudes that are in the worship ministry.
Yep.
And getting into the live sound, playing guitar. I wrestled with the production aspect of church every fucking Sunday, man. I was like, are we putting on a show or are we trying to teach people about the love of Jesus Christ?
Right.
So then if we want to, in part 3, I can kind of explain that journey of
Yeah,
my
I think
life.
this is a great place to finish it out. We just
But
hit,
I want more now.
I know we just hit the hour 30 mark. Mark, I can't thank you enough, man. Part 2 is just as invigorating as part 1.
Love you, man.
we love you
Thanks,
coming.
I love you guys. I love it.
We hope you come back in a month or so and tell us the rest of the story, man. I can't wait.
I hope we get less views on this one than the last one. We're going to get some sponsors, right?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
It's
because,
you.
because
we need your boomsticks.
somebody needs to pay for this hipster beer I keep buying.
This taco trucko.
Taco
See
Trucko
what
Amber
I-
Lager. It's
See
actually
what
pretty
I
good.
did there? I changed the name.
Yeah, that's
slightly.
racist.
Taco
Mark,
Trucko.
thank you for coming out. We love you, man. Mr. Matt Wadley here by my side. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Always fun.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Late.
And he's like, you want to see my studio? Yeah.